If you're planning to build a villa, this video could save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars and help you avoid the mistakes that 90% of people make at the design stage. It doesn't matter if you're building your dream home or developing villas as an investment, in both cases the cost of wrong decisions can be very high. I am the founder of Vastu Villa, an architecture and interior design studio. For over 10 years, we've been designing villas and boutique hotels around the world, with more than 50 completed projects across 11 countries and 5 Thailand Property Awards. More than 60% of our villas are sold before construction even begins, and 100% before completion. Based on our experience, we've identified the top 5 most expensive mistakes in villa design. And in this video, I'll show you how to avoid them so you don't waste time, money, or energy fixing this later. Mistake number 5. Let's buy the land first and figure out later. A lot of people choose a plot based on the view, location, or price, and only after that start thinking about the design. And that's when the problems show up. Suddenly, the villa they had in mind either doesn't fit or becomes way too expensive to build on that land. For example, we had a client who bought a plot and planned a villa around 300 square meters. But due to building restrictions, only part of that land could actually be developed. And the project just didn't fit the scale anymore. In the end, they had to completely rethink and redesign the size of the house. In situations like these, people either build something very different from what they originally wanted, or try to sell the land and start over, losing time and money. The right approach is the opposite. First, define your project, your scale, and your budget, and only then choose the land which fits it, not the other way around. We always help our clients figure this out early on to understand what they really need and what kind of land will actually work for their project. If you'd like our help at this stage, you can fill out the form in the link below this video to book the private consultation. Mistake number 4, I want a beautiful villa, but I'm not sure what exactly I want. From our experience, a lot of people come in without clear vision. They have a general feeling, some inspiration images, references, but it's not a complete picture. It's more like a mix of different ideas. And often those ideas don't really work together. Different styles, layouts, and concepts all in one. So people start a design project hoping that once they see it, everything will just click. But this is where time and money starts to slip away. One version gets done, then it doesn't feel right, changes begin, decisions keep shifting, the budget grows, and the timeline stretches, simply because there wasn't a clear direction from the start. The right approach is to first break everything down, understand what exactly you like in each reference, what works for you, and turn that into a clear brief. And then it's the designer's job to shape it into a solution that makes sense, one that fits your taste, your budget, and what can actually be built. Mistake number 3. I kinda know how big the house should be. In reality, most of the people don't really feel space. A client might say, I want a 3-bedroom villa around 350 square meters, but from our experience, that's actually a very large size for a 3-bedroom home and often an unnecessary expense because every extra square meters costs money, and in the end, a lot of that space just doesn't get used. The same goes for ceiling heights. Someone might say, I want 10-meter ceilings, and yes, it's possible, but that's a completely different level of villa, different budget, and much higher cost. For example, if your goal is to build a villa to sell for around, let's say, $300,000, solutions like that just won't fit the budget. And that's the mistake. People think they understand the size they need, but in reality, it often doesn't match their budget or the purpose of the project. A 90 square meter bedroom might sound impressive, but for a mid-range villa, it simply doesn't make sense. That's why it's so important to work with a professional who understands the right proportions for your style and budget and can guide you early on, helping you avoid unnecessary costs and decisions. Mistake number 2. Design is just about nice visuals. A lot of people think design is just pretty renderings, something you can save money on. But in reality, design is not just images. It's a fully thought-out project and step-by-step plan for construction, where every square meter is planned in terms of function, budget, comfort, and style. Because the real question is not how it looks, but how it's going to be built and why. And the most important part here is not the visuals, it's the drawings and technical documentation. That's what builders actually use. It tells them what to do, where everything goes, what materials to use, and all the exact dimensions. Without that, people end up building by feeling. They become the project manager themselves, running around, choosing materials, changing things on the go, doing parts of the project because nothing was clearly defined from the start. And that's where the biggest problems and extra costs begin. Even if you think you know what you want, it's very hard to communicate that clearly to builders without proper documentation. That's why design is not about getting nice images. It's about getting a clear, predictable result that can actually be built. Mistake number 1, choosing the wrong specialist. A lot of people think any designer can handle any type of project, whether it's apartments, restaurants, or villas. They look at nice images, maybe a lower price, and make a decision based on that. But in reality, design is all about specialization. Designing an apartment is very different from designing a villa. It's different scale, different logic, and completely different challenges. If you choose someone who doesn't have experience with the type of project, you might get a nice looking concept, but later realize it doesn't match your budget, your land, or what can actually be built. We've had many cases where clients came to us after working with other designers and realized the project simply couldn't be built. At that point, everything had to be scrapped and started from the scratch. Another important sign, if designers start working without understanding your construction budget, that's a red flag. Because if someone just draws whatever the client wants without checking it against reality, problem with budget and construction will always follow. The right approach is to choose a designer not just based on price or visuals, but based on experience, specialization, and understanding of your specific type of project. When your project is handled by a team that works specifically with villas, understands the scale, the logic, the restrictions, you don't just get your beautiful idea, you get a project that can actually be built. These are the most common mistakes people make when starting a villa project. The key issue is not that people do something wrong, it's that there is no clear picture from the start, what to build, what scale, what budget, and how it all connects. Let me know in the comments where you are right now, choosing land, planning a project, or already building. Based on your answers, we'll create the next video for you. If you feel like you don't have the full picture yet, that's completely normal. That's exactly why clients come to us. During our private consultations, we break down your specific project, your goals, the right format, the realistic budget, and what can actually be built on your land. So instead of just an idea, you get a clear plan and next steps without wasting time or money. If you'd like this kind of guidance, fill out the brief using the link below, and we'll review your project with you.